All right, folks, welcome to our next video in our creating a animatronic horror bear. Um, so at this point, we have our controls pretty much in place. We've got our skeleton pieces put in the spots where they need to go. And now we are going to start actually connecting the skeletons to the mesh. And then we're gonna make the controllers be parents of the um, skeleton so that we can just use these controllers to actually move everything and we don't have to try to dive inside of our character to get a hold of his bones or anything. But first, we're gonna do a couple things. Let's get started as usual by going to Workspace, General, then Reset Current. Then let's go ahead and do a file, set project, look for your Fred project folder, do a file, open scene, let's open number 19, and then let's do a file, save scene as, we'll call it Fred 20. Now for this video, because it is going to take us a little time just to do the head, we are going to focus on cleaning up a little bit over here, getting a little more organized. And then we are going to focus on trying to get the head fully rigged and set up so that next episode we can move into uh, the arms or body or something. But we're going to focus on the head, and that way we can test it out. When working with this, I'm actually going to spend a lot of time in the perspective view just so I can move around and test stuff a little easier. So let's get started. First, if you don't see your outliner, go ahead and go to Windows, Outliner. And up here in this search, I'm going to go ahead and do or actually, let's just do the display, show, objects, and I'm going to start with just geometries. And so you'll see that it takes away all of our joints. So what I'm going to do is any that have this little diamond shape, those are our meshes. I'm going to take shift click all of those, and I'm going to hit Control G. And then that's going to make a group, and I'm going to double click on it and call it meshes, just to get those a little more organized. Then I'm going to select all these with this wavy line. Those are our curves, which are also our controls. Now, again, the controls, when we render, will not show up. They are just there while we're working in our design mode. But I'm going to select all those, hit Control G, and I'm going to call those controls. Then I'm going to hit the show button again, go to objects, turn off the geometry so it brings everything back. The majority of the rest is these little purple icons, which are our joints. So I'm going to shift select all those, hit Control G, and I'm going to call this joints. Now we're doing that just to help clean this up. We're going to work in here a lot because it's easier to grab stuff out of here than it is to try to make sure we grab the right object that we're going for here. So we've got those. Now it's time to start putting this together so that we can actually control our little character. And so we're going to start up here and we'll just kind of work our way down. By the time we're done, we'll get with this episode, we will get to this point where this controller of the head will actually move everything. Everything else will be able to move by its individual controllers, but they will also all move if the head moves. So what I'm going to do first is I want to hit this plus sign next to my controls, and I'm going to hit the plus sign next to joints. I don't really need the meshes because the meshes are pretty easy. Well, except for that hat. There we go. The meshes are a lot easier to click on. while we're out here. The only ones we may have trouble with are going to be these eyelids. We may struggle with those, but for the most part, we can grab everything when it comes to a mesh. All right, so we're going to start with, let's just start with this little ear here. So the first thing we need to do is I'm going to get the controller ready. So I'm going to select its controller. You'll see it selects it here. Now we can't just link or make that controller do everything and then make it a child of this one. And I'll show you why here in just a moment. But, or actually, let me show you this real quick. I'm going to go really fast through these steps. Don't worry, I'm going to undo everything. But I'm going to take this ear and I'm going to make it, I'm going to bind it to my little joint for the ear. So I'm going to go over here, turn on rigging, and I'm just going to, with both of those selected, I'm going to go to skin, bind skinned. When I do that, I can now wiggle the ear because of the joint. Well, then what I'm going to do, just so I don't have to always try to grab that joint, if I grab this controller and I grab that, I'm going to go to constrain parent. Now, if I grab my controller, it affects the ear, whatever I need to do. The reason we have to change things up a little bit, we can't just go straight like that, is if I go down here, let me find my head joint real quick. So I got the head joint, and I'm going to grab the head mesh. So I've got those. I'm going to bind that skin real quick. So if I grab the head joint now, and I move it, his head moves, which is what we want. Now everything's not hooked to it yet. But if I take the head controller, so I'm going to take the head controller, I'm going to connect it to the head joint. Now it moves with the controller. And the basic thought would be, okay, if that's what we want, then all I got to do is make this controller a child of the head. So if I select the head and then that one, and I go constrain parent, if I do it, it works. Now the issue we run into is this. If I go in here and let's say I rotate my ear a little bit. So I rotate the controller and I set a keyframe. Oops, I don't want to do that though. I want to do, let me see, which way did I rotate that? So I want to rotate on X. So I do that and I key it. Now if I go over here and I start moving this, you'll notice the ear is doing some crazy movements. It's not staying in the angle that I just keyframed it. So we have to do a couple things to get a couple extra steps to get it to where when I keyframe this and then I move it with this, it still obeys whatever rules I had set for here. And so again, hopefully you didn't go through all that. I'm going to undo all of that and we're going to go through it as a group. I just kind of wanted to show you what the process, or what the issues are if we don't do it right. So trying to get everything back. I think I've got them all back now. All right. So, like I said, we're going to start with the head, try to knock it all out, and then work our way through. And it's not a lot of extra steps. It's just if you miss this one step later on, if you miss this one step for each of your controls, later on you may run into some struggles. So we're going to start with this ear. And I'm going to select the controller for it. And I'm going to hit Control G, which is going to create this new group in my controls. And I'm going to rename that left ear control. So basically what it has is inside of here is the controller that will wind up controlling this ear. So if I set keyframes on this controller, it will store them on that controller for the ear. This is where I'm going to make this group a child of my head so that whenever the head moves, it affects this, which, because it's a group, will move this, but this will keep all of its keyframed settings. And we'll test it here in a minute. So you want to select the left ear control, and you want to hit Control G. It'll make it a group, and you rename that left ear control. Then we are going to select our ear mesh. I'm going to grab my selection tool so I don't have all those gizmos in the way. And I'm going to Control select my left ear joint. I'm going to go up to Skin, Bind Skin. That basically tells it to make this joint the bone that goes to that ear. And because of the way we've designed this, this allows for really easy binding. Then I'm going to select my left ear control, not the group. You want to make sure you select the control itself. Then I'm going to Control select the left ear joint, go to Constrain up here, and Parent. If you aren't seeing this stuff, make sure you are on this rigging drop down. That will give you the rigging options. So now if I grab my controller, it will move it. Now, obviously, if I'm just going to hit Control Z because I want to leave everything the way it is for right now. All right, so we got that. Then go to the other side. Select this controller. I'm going to hit Control G. Rename it to be right ear control. Click the plus sign to show the actual control. Grab the mesh, then grab the right ear joint, go Skin, Bind Skin. Again, that'll now move that one. Then I'm going to grab my right ear control. You always want to select whatever's going to be the parent. You want to select it first. So I'm going to select my right ear control, Control select my right ear joint, constrain parent. If I grab that, should wiggle. All right, now we're going to do the hat. So I'm going to grab the hat control. Whoops. And that's why it's easier to just, in most cases, use these to grab everything. So these little drop downs here for now, I'm going to close those. I'm going to grab my hat control, Control G, rename it, call it hat control. I'm going to grab the hat, Control select the hat joint, go Skin, Bind Skin. Then I'm going to grab the hat control, make sure to hit that drop down, get the actual control, Control select the hat joint, constrain parent. And if I test it, if I just grab the control, it's harder to tell with this one unless you grab one of these sideways ones. Because if you just try to go across, it's hard to tell that it's actually spinning because it's just a solid color. All right, so we've got those. Keep working our way down the line. So I'm going to close this little drop down over here, and let's do the right eyebrow control. I'm going to hit Control G. We'll call it right eyebrow control. Click the plus sign. So we got that. I'm going to find my right eyebrow joint. And this one, we're going to try to select it. I may actually have to click away let's try to click the eyebrow first, then select the right eyebrow joint, then do skin, find skin. If we test it by grabbing the right eyebrow joint, he can wiggle his eyebrows. So we will grab the right eyebrow control select the right eyebrow joint, constrain, parent. So now that control, if I can get a hold of it, should control the eyebrow. All right, so we got that one. So I'm going to close that. Go to left eyebrow, Control G. Going to call it left eyebrow control. Click the plus sign to see the bottom of it. Let's grab our selection tool, grab the left eyebrow. And if you are having trouble like I am, because there's so much stuff on top of it, you can try to rotate around to get a better angle. That still doesn't work. You go up here, make the meshes visible, and you grab the left eyebrow. And did I call that the right name? Let's see. Yeah, left eyebrow control. Okay, so I got the left eyebrow. I'm gonna grab the left eyebrow joint. I'm gonna hit skin, bind skin. Then I'm gonna get the left eyebrow control select the left eyebrow joint, and then constrain parent. And that one works. Okay, oops, Control Z. All right, now let's do the head and the bottom jaw before I mess with the eyes. We'll do these first. So I'm going to grab the head control, hit Control G. I'm going to call it head control. I'll close this one, open this one. I'm going to select the head and control select the head joint, do skin, bind skin. Then I'm going to grab the head control select the head joint, do constrain parent. And if I do that one, whoa, okay, grabbed the wrong little bar there, but something's going on. What is going on here? Let me try to do that again. There we go. If yours was doing that crazy bend, just click away and then click it again. So now this controller moves his head. Now, obviously, nothing's going with it. We'll deal with that in a little bit. I'm going to close that for now. Then I'm going to go ahead and let's do this bottom jaw. So I'm going to grab the bottom jaw controller, which is this angled one. I'm going to hit Control G, rename it bottom jaw control. Click the plus sign. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab the bottom jaw mesh, control select the bottom jaw joint, do skin, bind skin. Then I'm going to grab my bottom jaw control select my bottom jaw joint, and do constrain parent. Now if I grab that and rotate, his little jaw can move up and down. If we want, we can go side to side. All right, so now we're going to get to where it's going to be a little tougher because we got so much going on in these eye areas. And we didn't make actual joints for them. We are just going to make them, the mesh itself, a child of the joint or the control. So I'm going to close this first. And we will start with, since we're on this side, I'll start with the left. So we'll start with this left bottom eyelid. So I'm going to hit Control G, and we will call it left bottom eyelid control. Click the plus sign to see the control itself. Then I want to control select And this is where we're probably going to have to, I'm going to close these joints for now so we can see more up here. So I've got my left bottom eyelid control. I'm going to scroll up and choose left. Where is it? Here we are. Left. Well, where is, oh, that's the controls. I want the meshes. That's why I'm not seeing it. There we go. Left bottom eyelid. So I'm going to control select that. So it selects it. I'm going to hit constrain parent. Now, if I grab that control and I grab my rotate, it'll allow me to just rotate that eyelid. All right. So I'm going to close that one. Then I'm going to go to the top eyelid, left top eyelid, hit Control G, rename it, left top eyelid control. Click the plus sign. Again, you gotta be using these controls as the parents. So I'm gonna select that, go up, Control select the top left top eyelid, constrain parent. If I test my parent control, that one moves. All right, slowly making progress. I'm gonna go to the left eyeball now. I'm gonna hit Control G on the controller. I'm gonna call it left eyeball control. I'm gonna close this one, open this one, and select it. I'm gonna scroll up here, Control select my left eyeball, hit constrain parent. Now if I grab this controller, which is the eyeball, I can rotate the eye. And I'm undoing everything. When I move them to test them, I'm doing Control Z to put it back in its original spot until I'm ready to start animating. All right, now let's go. We'll start with this right bottom eyelid control. Hit Control G, call it right bottom eyelid control. Close that, open that. I'm going to grab that. Then I'm going to come up and grab my right bottom eyelid, hit constrain parent. Grab that. That one works. All right, so now let's grab the top. This one is the right eyeball. I'm going to start with the top one. There we go. Right top eyelid control, hit Control G. Right top eyelid control. Click the drop down, select it. Then I'm going to come to grab the right top eyelid, constrain parent, and then that one. All right. Finally, the last one, we got the eyeball, the right eyeball control. So got it here, hit Control G, call it right eyeball control. I'm gonna close these two so it doesn't get too crazy. Get the plus sign for that. Then come up to the right eyeball, control select it, constrain parent. All right. Now I think we have everything rigged in the head. But the issue we will run into is if I select the head and I move it, right now nothing follows the head. So this head is going to, or the head control is going to be apparent to all of these pieces above it. And so what we will do now, I'm going to go ahead and close this drop down. I'm going to select my head, and I'm going to show you first why we made these controls. So I'm going to select, make sure I have the head control selected. And then I'm going to control select the bottom jaw. So I'm going to do that one. And I'm control selecting the bottom jaw group control. And I'm going to hit constrain parent. The reason I did that, if I now take, and y'all don't have to do this, but if I take this and I open it, let's say I want to open it and I want to set a keyframe. Oops, I don't want to, I only want to set it on. We've got some other stuff, so I'm trying to make sure I do it without messing everything up. So I'm going to key that real quick just to show it. If I move this, the jaw stays in the position that I keyed it in. If I move it this way, it still stays in that position. That is why we did these groups so that the controls, again, they get keyframed for the actual object that is moving. But when they are parented to something else, the parent is controlling the group, so it doesn't affect the keyframes that are set on the actual control itself. All right, so now that we've done that, did I go back far enough? Not yet. Okay, let me undo until I get back far enough. Okay, let me test this. Okay, so now make sure again you select the head control with the blue wavy line, the actual curve. But then you will control select the bottom jaw, group, hit constrain parent. Select the head control again, and let's just start working our way down. We'll do the hat. So control select the hat group, constrain parent, select the head control. Let's do the left ear group, constrain parent, head control, right ear group, constrain parent, head, right eyebrow, constrain parent, head control, left eyebrow, constrain parent, head control, bottom jaw, constrain parent, head control, left bottom eyelid, constrain parent, head control, left top eyelid, constrain parent, head control, left eyeball control, constrain parent, head control, right bottom eyelid, constrain parent, head control, right top eyelid, constrain parent, and then finally head control, right eyeball control, constrain parent. So now if I grab the head and I rotate, everything goes with it. So if my little bear needs to turn his head, everything follows. If he needs to go down, everything follows. Needs to go up, everything follows. So now we have a rigged head ready for us to keyframe. Now, obviously, we got a whole bunch more to rig up, but at least at this point, we've got our character's head ready to rig or ready to animate. So one other thing I do want to fix while we're on this episode to get us ready for the next piece, I'm going to close this for now. And I'm going to go down and open up my joints. And I'm looking for the torso joint. And I'm going to turn on shading X-ray real quick. You'll see that we put the base of the torso down here, but we actually put our torso control up here. Let's go ahead and select the torso control, and I can tell it's the torso because right here, I'm going to move that down. I'm actually going to switch to quad view so I can make sure I line it up as close as possible to the joint for the torso. So I'm going to click on torso again. So it's down here. I'm going to bring it down a little further. Click on torso again. Okay, so that's a lot closer. But one thing I also run into, and I'm going to go back to turning off X-ray. My torso, which I think is this one, yes, is inside of my waist one. They're just too close in size. So what I'm going to do So I'm going to scale the torso one widthwise in and then pull it out so that my torso will be this one, this long one. My waist will be this long one. That way it's just a little easier to tell the two apart. And that one's in the right spot where it should be pivoting. Because when our torso pivots, we should be expecting it to bend right here where our naturally we would be able to bend our body. All right. So I think we're in a good spot there. We'll be ready to start rigging another part. I'm thinking we will probably do the body and maybe the waist and legs next. Save the arms for last because of the fact that the fingers have so much going on with them. So I think in the next one we will do this area plus the legs, and then we'll save the arms for last. All right, so let's go ahead and do a file save. And hopefully everybody's starting to get excited about the fact that you will soon have a animatronic bear rigged ready to animate. And then later on, I'll show you how to quickly change this into some of the other characters, especially the ones that look like this character. All right, so again, do a file save. I'll see you in the next episode.